Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, where I speak with creatives of colour who share journeys and stories and ideas and how they can inspire and open up avenues in creative industries. I'm your host, graphic designer Angela Lyons, and with the help of my guests, I will bring you insightful interviews and compelling stories that can inspire you to think about things differently or shape your next move. Being a creative of colour can bring its challenges, highs and lows and in-betweens. But this podcast is about amplifying our voices and celebrating together. So, are you ready? Let's get started with Creatives Like Us.
Hello, welcome to Creatives Like Us. And I'm back again, Heather Pownall, as the producer to interview the host, Angela Lyons. Hello, Ange.
Hello. You're right, Heather. Feels weird, me, because I normally say, hello, welcome to Creatives Like Us. And tell me, what kind of creative are you?
So, 16 episodes under your belt. You have produced series 1. It has happened. It has aired. So tell me, how are you feeling from what your vision was back at the beginning to 16 conversations down? Where are you now in your vision?
The vision. Oh my gosh. It's funny because people always say that you've got to have a business plan, but I've just not winged it, but I've just said, let's just go for it and see what happens. And the vision from the beginning was to hopefully inspire and get conversations going. And I think that has actually happened, especially from the feedback I've got from people. And so that's the vision. My vision was to get people talking and inspired and hopefully spread the words and tell people about the guests that have been on the podcast. So that's been the main aim and the main vision for it. So yeah, it's been great. And I love that people have shared it, been speaking about it. And even when I go into rooms now and I say, hi, I'm Angela, graphic designer. And then I think, oh gosh, I've got to say, and a podcaster too.
Yes, I am a podcast host.
Yeah.
You've achieved the vision that you initially set out, but has it evolved at all, or is it evolving because of the conversations you're having?
Yeah, I think so, especially the ideas I've got for season 2, which has been great. So it's still evolving. I still have great guests and it's been fantastic. Like people reaching out to me, asking if they can come on. And also I've already recorded a few for the next season and also just switching it up a little bit because I think it'd be great if I did a few solo episodes. So it'd just be me and challenging, talking about a topic around maybe what the last guest has spoken about, around their business or any topic around what they've actually spoken about. So yeah, that's how it's kind of evolving, I'd say.
Do you know, for me, when you were talking about doing that, that shows you in a different headspace where you're like, right, I know what I want to talk about now. I've been doing it with the guests. Now I have something to say. Whereas when we first spoke at what you were like, well, I don't really want to be doing the talk and I want to get the guests to do it. So you can see the evolution of that as you as a producer with me and as a host as well. Yeah. You see how that's evolving that way.
Yeah. And also, I have to say, before we go any further, I should have said this right from the top, Heather. Thank you so much for you because you've encouraged me and you've helped me evolve too. So in my confidence and also podcasting. So thank you so much. And just got to big you up. So big up, Heather.
Well, I'll take that. Thank you very much. But it is all you. And I just really enjoy supporting you and seeing your project flourish. And that's what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to help you create it, but create it in your vision and maybe beyond what you were expecting as well. And that's what I like to do with you and with my clients is, what is it you want to do, right? Is there an actual other angle here or is there another way of doing this? And that's what we're kind of figuring out together. I will come back onto the mega work that a podcast actually is. But before we go on to that part, could you tell me what the biggest surprise or learnings that you've had with the conversations you've had with your guests? Have you had any big, I hadn't thought of that.
What have I thought about? No, not massively, but it was just more so when people say, for example, I promoted an episode and for example, Dominique's episode, that was the first one with a guest, apart from me and you. And when that went out on LinkedIn and then Dominique actually did a post about it a few months later and somebody actually remembered that. And so that to me was just like, wow, I love that it's reached certain people and they've had that conversation going and it's sparked other people to think, I need to have that conversation too, especially around colour and being represented in certain spaces. Another one that really surprised me and learnings from it again, I suppose it is, again, the conversations when Sylvia Prince spoke the illustrator, and she had a series along her drawings around Vitiligo Society. And then somebody actually DM'd me around that and said, I'm really glad that this has been spoken about, and I'm going to follow Sylvia now. Again, it's just like that whole connections. That's what's the one that's just, I suppose, the learnings from that. It's just that you don't know who you're going to touch. So that's my major thing from it.
Wasn't that fantastic? When we had our conversation, when we did the first interview before we launched, you talked a lot about paying it forward and connections, even if you helped one person. And that's incredible, isn't it? That's what you're just saying, that what's gone out there has sparked other conversations. It's sparked possibly collaborations, but definitely a connection there. And I just think that's fabulous. So, what about recurring themes? I know you had specific questions that you wanted to ask each person, but what did you feel the recurring themes were through all 16 conversations that you had?
Apart from the quick fire 5 questions that people just always got stuck on those. Anyway, not about those. Recurring themes. I think, do you know what? I always end on what would you tell your younger self? And a lot of them said, just go for it and be confident in themselves. And it's so hard when you're young, just not be, obviously we don't know, do we? And when we're adults, obviously throughout the years, I mean, it's taken me how many years to get confident to actually speak, be on summits or be on a podcast and actually find your voice. Where if you'd have asked me when I was a teenager, I'd been like, no. And I know some people are really confident when they're younger, but one of the things that I say people have said a lot is the confidence, and they wish they had that when they were younger. Just say, go for it, believe in yourself. And I wish that, we did do that when we were younger. So who knows what would happen? But everything happens over time, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, you can only be ready when you're ready, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Even this podcast and myself, it took me a while to actually get going. And then I know you send me the episodes to listen back. And I'm just like, oh, I can't listen to my voice. But I really had to, because obviously it's our work and I have to make sure that it's, there's anything that I need to hear or edit out or anything. But it was listen to my voice. I was like, oh no. But it's that confidence again, And then people say to me, oh, you're a podcaster now. That must be so cool. You're so cool. And I'm like, inside, I'm like, oh my God. But I'm embracing it now. It's taken me a while. It's taken me a few episodes in. So yeah, confidence is a massive thing. It's a massive thing. So
Confidence and belief
yeah.
aspect and
Yeah.
unlearning wrong truths and all of that. But that's a whole other episode if we're going down that line.
Exactly.
But what you are doing with the conversations you're having, you are actually shining a light on that, and you are actually touching on these. And for depending on who you've been speaking to, that's been more prevalent than others, where they have had to really work on their confidence and they talk about that. And there's been others that have just been, I've just followed where the doors have opened. So it's like hearing those different stories and do you know what? Your path is going to open up for you. Which way? It's just be open to following it, I think. I think it's that way, isn't it? Yeah. I've really enjoyed editing it. I've really enjoyed listening to the conversations. But how have the guests and the listeners been impacted, do you think, by this podcast? How have they been impacted?
Do you know what? At the end of every episode, the guests, I give them the graphics and I give them social media text if they want to use it, and I give them videos, little social media prompts and things like that. And always share it. And I think when they share it, other people in their audience say, oh my God, I didn't know that about you. So that's the impact I think that we're giving them. And I think that people find that out about me too. And they say, oh my God, you got a podcast. Didn't know you had a podcast. And every time we keep on sharing, we get more downloads, and you see, there's sometimes the analytics of where people download from, that has impacted my, again, a bit of confidence too. So, and I share that with a guest who I said, listen, your episode is so-and-so, been downloaded so many times. I mean, of course, we're not talking about in the thousands because we only started in January, but the impact on them, I'd say, is that it gives them more of their followers, more of an insight into them. So that's the impact that I think is giving them.
Yeah. I always say to people as well, when you're working in smaller numbers at the moment or more niche, or, you don't have a big media machine behind you. So you're doing your kind of organic growth with it. If you were to take the lessons of an episode and put them all in a room, I always say that if you could take all those sets of years and realize that they are people and stick them in a room, that's who you're connecting with. And I always think when you try and visualize the actual amount of people, that it starts being bigger than not thinking, being I don't know, I can't think of them,
1,000, yeah.
Steve Bartlett, that those
Steve
type of
Bartlett kind
numbers.
of number.
Yeah, yeah. But just think, if it's 40 people, 100 people, 150 people, 300 people, you start putting all those in a room and people start connecting, they start following each other on LinkedIn
Yeah,
or on
yeah,
Instagram, or, the visibility of you as a host, but also of your guests. And then the audience kind of all starts, and that's that connection that you're talking about.
yeah,
So let's go on to that. How has it impacted your business, you as the host? What's that done for your visibility and just your brand, I
yeah,
suppose?
yeah. It is amazing. The message, I've got to say that it's amazing, and people reaching out and saying they're just really glad that I've started it and I've done it. And again, it's just been awareness and visibility, and people like walking into certain client offices, they say, "Oh, I listened to that podcast episode. That was a great one." So, and I'm like, "Oh, do you listen?" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God." And then slight cringe, but it's like, but then I think, no, I don't show them the cringe. I'm like, "Okay, thanks." And I just walk toward, I carry on. So, it's one of those, and again, it's not showing off. It's not showing off about it, but it's just being proud of it, and
Yeah.
yeah, being appreciative
Yeah.
that people are listening. Again, it's amazing because you think, how do I get client work into my business? And a lot of my work is referrals, and I think again, it is visibility. If people see me post about the podcast with each episode, I put each episode on my website. So again, and I create that as a blog post so people can see that. So you just don't know who you're going to impact, but you notice that certain inquiries are coming in because my name's starting to reach Google at the top of like freelance graphic designer, so you just don't know. You can't really track all of it, but you kind of work out when you post certain things, when people come into your business and more eyes on your business. So in that sense, not directly people have said, "Oh, I want to work with you because of the podcast," but you don't know what other touch points in my marketing people have come in. But yeah, it's I'd say definitely the visibility it's been good. And that was actually my word of the year last year was visibility. So just gonna carry on.
Well, and you've knocked that out of the park as a goal this year. You've had people approach you to collaborate, and there's been other opportunities. You get invited to events, but also you're getting invited to speak. Now, this was happening anyway, but has that elevated since the podcast, or do you feel it has?
I feel like it has, definitely. I think, again, once people see you out there and doing certain things, and actually, again, listening to the podcast, I reckon that as people have got the confidence in that to say, she can speak, she can do this, she can come onto my design summit. I told you about the Designer Boss Summit that's going to be
Amazing.
happening
Yeah.
in the end of August. And by the time this episode comes out, this will be live. So yes, we could talk about that. So, and that is a massive design summit. It's like online design summit and it's global, and there's like amazing designers speaking. Christo, I mean, my picture is next to Christo. I'm actually at the bottom, but a little bit smaller, of course. But you know,
You're there. You're there.
yeah.
Don't play that down at all, though. I think it's
Mm-mm.
absolutely incredible, and bask in the win of that as it
Yeah,
is.
and also I know definitely Anna. I'll say this because I know that she's put a call out for more diverse speakers. And so, if you are listening and you are a designer, a creative, approach her. Pitch to be on her summit. I encourage you to do that because when you look at the lineup, I looked at the lineup last year and I actually DM'd a couple of my friends and I said, "What is this?" And I just said, "Where are the black creatives? There are black designers out there." And I'm always seeing the same faces there. And I said to my friends, "We should set up a summit, or we should do something." And it would be great. Obviously, it's a lot of work, but Anna's already got the numbers there. She's already got the people coming into her business. So I know that she is actively calling out for more black speakers. I know that for a fact. So if you are and you're listening, contact her. It's the Designer Boss Summit. So she asked me to come on, and I was like, yeah, didn't know what I was going to speak about, but I was like, yes, straight away. I know I can do this.
And you've spoken a few times this, not just this year, the last few years. That has been something that's been increasing for you as well,
Yeah.
as you as I suppose as a business personality, if you like, but also as part of your brand. It has been something that's been happening, and I'm sure the podcast has helped elevate that for you.
I think so, definitely, definitely. And
Mm.
it's also the confidence, just that if you're speaking regularly every couple of weeks to people, that's more speaking you're doing, and then more listening to their voices, listening to what they're about, giving me ideas. We share ideas. Again, it's just, yeah, it's all about sharing. And of course, the Creative Like Us event I know we're going to maybe speak about that. That has been phenomenal. Io, Abbas and Vanessa below. We founded that, and it's just been, again, another opportunity to get our voices out there and raise awareness in Black businesses.
Yeah. Let's just move on to that actually. Tell me a bit more about the event and how that's complementing the podcast.
Yeah, sure. So, Creatives Like Us, the first event was this year in February. And it was funny because Io and I, we caught on thinking a name to call the event. So I said, why don't we call it the same thing as my podcast? Because it is around talking about Black business owners. And the event is we call it a workshop for Black brown creatives who are in business. And you don't have to be a creative as such, like a traditional creative, but you are creative in your business. You've got to market your business. You've got to talk about your business. So it's ways around your business to be creative in it. And so we created a workshop for that. So there's the keynote speaker the first time around was Vanessa. We also had some mindfulness by Peju. She inspired us at the beginning of the actual workshop. And then we also had panel talks and panel discussions. Most amazing thing that I loved, and I think the guests loved, the attendees loved, was the networking. And somebody actually wrote down on the feedback form that was one of the best networking events I've been to, because we're not a big organisation. We're more a small community at the moment. And the people that have come and attended, they've been really, what's the word? Open and interested in talking about their business, but also hearing about other people's business. So we have Hive masterminds where you come to the event with a question or an element about your business that you want help on. And then we work in small groups. We call them hives, and everybody gets a chance to speak to help the other person on their business. So it's a real community based workshop, we call it. Yeah, an event. And obviously we get food and drink, and then there's more networking, and it's just so awesome. And people are coming back. And the next event is in October the 16th. Actually, I'll put the link in the show notes for that, because tickets, there's early bird tickets for the 1st of September, then the price goes up after that. And it's not even that much. It's like 33 pounds. I mean, it's nothing for an evening out. It's nothing for an event. And so we actually, I'm not saying we don't make any money off this, but it's more about our community. And we also give 15% to a local charity. So we are about the community, but we just want to see businesses thrive, especially Black brown creatives, because sometimes it can be a real confidence thing. They don't believe in themselves. They don't want to go for it. And I think myself, Io and Vanessa, I say definitely Vanessa and I, they're forces. And when I think people see them, they think, I can be like that too. I can be positive. I can be a force too. And that's what we're trying to do, is just empower and create community and just uplift each other.
And you, just listening to you and the passion that's coming out, that's lovely. We talked as well about it's not a podcast, it's not an event, it's a bit of a movement that's kind of a momentum and a movement that's happening with you. And I feel that. I feel that when you show up with all of your socials as well, there is a real strength behind you. There is positivity that comes out of everything that you post as well. And I think don't think that should be taken, I don't mean for granted, but that there's a lot of power there in what you're doing. But I think you're so humble about it. So, but there is. We discussed doing this interview, and when we discussed it, we talked about all the different areas that we might want to raise. And one of the issues that came up was actually some people not wanting to be associated with the podcast. And it's a bit of challenges and identity tensions, maybe. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I normally ask people to come onto the podcast, especially if I've seen them online. I think they'll be a great guest. And obviously, if I've seen them speak, I think, oh God, they'll be great. And then some people, I've seen them speak on other podcasts, and I've asked them to come on. They pretty much said no, but wish me luck. And that's kind of okay, because they might not want to be associated with something is strictly Black at the end of the day. And they might not want that. Even though I'm asking Black, brown creatives to come on, they might not feel that fits in with what they're about and what their brand is about and how they want to publicize themselves. Whereas on the other hand, I've had people contact me and I'm like, oh my God, they're huge. So, and it's good. It's not for numbers. It's just more so they're such amazing people. And I just think, oh my God. So hopefully season 2 will have a couple of those on. We've just got to work out dates and recording. So yeah, it's been a real mix of people that want to be associated with it and a mix that don't. And because it is guest interviews, it is quite tricky. And it's my time at the end of the day. I'm organising this. I'm setting up the emails. Thank God I've got a system in place, because if I didn't have a system in place, that would be a nightmare. But I've got my folders, I've got everything set up, and I've got my email templates. So if I don't hear from people, I do get a bit disheartened. But then when I do hear from them and I've asked them again for the third time maybe, and then if they don't answer me after that, I'm like, okay, we're done. But if they come back, that's cool. And then sometimes I met this lovely lady online and she's an amazing artist, and I've asked her, but she actually said she can't speak at the moment. So I said, well, let's collaborate maybe on a blog post. And she was like, definitely up for that. So then again, I mustn't judge. If people say no, there might be other reasons why they can't come on. So we have to consider that too. So, but yeah, you know what? I'm grateful for all the guests that have been on. Thank you so much. I have to say that. And I always say the thank you to them because it is their time. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, it is. It's something, isn't it, when people agree, go, yeah, I want to be on that, or when they're reaching out saying, can I be on this? I just want to go back to the affirmation that we did in that first ever episode where we said some really big names like Michelle Obama, Oprah.
Yay.
Yeah. So any other names there you want to just put that
I think I
affirmation
mentioned
out in the
Judy Love.
universe?
Do you remember? I said Judy Love.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to speak to her. She'd be so fun. So yeah, I'd love to talk to Judy Love. There's some other people that have been on also that I'm just like really blessed. The ones that I'm going to speak to hopefully for the season 2, that I'm like, oh my gosh, amazing artists that I can't wait to speak to. Singer and illustrator. So hopefully they'll come and say hi and come on. Yeah. So who else can we talk to, Heather? Who else can I? I've got my hit list on my
No.
spreadsheet. I've got my Google Doc sheet.
I think we should cast the net a bit wider.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. I'm listening to Rachel Rogers at the moment at her book, We Should All
Oh
Be
yeah.
Millionaires.
Michelle
Yeah,
Millionaires, yeah.
yeah. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? So I'm
Yeah, it
listening to
is.
that on Audible. She'd be a great guest to go on.
Yes, she would be. She could make us all millions too, or tell us how to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So we're evolving quite well. So before I go into the full evolution of series 2, let's just talk about the realities of producing a series of podcasts, because I get it all the time in my life where people are like, oh, I want to do a podcast. So I have to like unpick that with people and go, right, why? And work out what their purpose is, why they want to do it, if they're even understanding what a podcast is. Because sometimes it's not, they tell you what they want. You're not actually describing a podcast to me. You're describing, I don't know, sell webinars, or actually just a set of videos for social media or whatever it is. So you start working back what it is they're trying to achieve, and then go, right, okay, this is how you can use a podcast. But they also don't realise the scope of work that's involved in it. Has that surprised you, or what have you learned about yourself in this process?
Yeah, I mean, and people did say to me, if you start a podcast, it's a lot of work. Obviously, I'm grateful for you helping with the editing, but you know, before that, you've got to get the guests on, got to do the emails, got to book the calendar time out. And a lot of guests are want to talk during the day. And obviously I'm working during the day, so I have to make time for that. I used to have 2 a day. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'll just have 1, and that's either on a Monday and a Tuesday. And so literally I've just got to block out time for that in the morning. So that's a big impact, because time wise, again, gathering all the graphics, and thank God for templates, grabbing their social media handles, grabbing their bios. It's just more admin work. And then once we get the episode, doing the transcripts and making sure they kind of look okay, even though AI is great and that helps a lot, putting that into the blog post for the website and also into Buzzsprout. So that's again more work. It's just admin. It is a lot of admin. I say around each episode can take up to about an hour and a half, 2 hours of time just to get it all sorted. And then obviously send off the graphics to the guests themselves to make sure that they've got their own folder. Some use it. Most do actually. Most are very grateful for it because I give them the podcast arts and then some snippets of the episode. So yeah, I think again, it's an easy win for me to give them the graphics because they show it on their followers. But yeah, again, that takes time. And then again, down to me to promote it. And I wish I could do more of that. But again, it's like I've got business, so I've got to think about my business, and then I've got to do the podcast. So it's first and secondary, because the podcast doesn't bring in money, as we know. Not at the moment anyway. So if anyone wants to sponsor us, please do. Get in touch. And even if it's just sponsoring, some software, but software is just, that makes a massive difference. I have to pay, just talking logistics wise, we have to pay for Buzzsprout, have to pay for Riverside, the recording software we use. I use Metrical to schedule the posts. So that obviously that's a cost. So yeah, there's just various costs that are coming out, I suppose, of my business to pay for it. So that's the logistics and the money factor side of things.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it. It is worth it. But you've got it's evergreen. That's the other thing. It's evergreen, and you can revisit this in different ways. You can start increasing blog posts. You can do when you start doing your solo episodes. Maybe some of those will be reflective on some of the earlier ones. That you start dissecting some of the other episodes, that type of thing. This is the evolution part of you've talked about doing the solo episodes. You've talked about you've already got some episodes recorded. And I have to say, you are so efficient and so busy because I'll go, right, I'll go in and I'll start editing some of these. And then there's like another 4 recorded episodes. Wow, she's done some more. It's like loads done. So tell me a bit more about the need and the agenda of doing the solo episodes. What's the purpose of those?
I think coming back to finding my voice and being confident that I want to, I suppose, talk to more about what the guests do and a bit about what I do and you do, and get around creating a podcast and also around our businesses. I think, because when I have been speaking to people, they are business owners and a lot of them are not working full time for somebody, or if they are, they've got the side hustle, which is their creative business or their creativity or whatever they're doing with that. And I think that will be really good to explore as solo episodes and get more eyes and ears into the business, really, and into the
Yeah.
podcast. And if people don't like it, they want the guests, that's all cool too. But hopefully they will like it. And but it's not like the guests are going, so the guests are still here, but it's just in between doing solo episodes. They won't be long episodes. Don't worry, won't hear me waffling on forever.
Yeah. And you can always go back, like I was saying. So like you could do a run of solos and then a wee bit later go, do you know what? I think a bit differently about this particular thing now because I've learned XYZ now or whatever it is. So you
Yeah,
can revisit things, whether that's as practical as a piece of software or just that you've
yeah,
evolved further in your leadership or whatever it is. You can go back and go, I thought this then, but I think this now because XYZ.
yeah,
I enjoy episodes like that myself. So I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
yeah.
So, looking ahead then, if you could pass one piece of encouragement on to your listeners, what would it be?
If you have an idea and you want to start something, just start it. Stop worrying about what other people think. Just go for it. If you've got the capacity, just go for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've started, it sounds a bit callous, I don't mean it this way, but it doesn't matter. And what I mean is, it doesn't matter. You're not hurting anybody or anything like that. You're just trying something out, or you're trying and you're evolving, you're learning, whatever. And apparently, I think it was Cher that said, "Ask yourself, will I be worrying about this in 5 years' time?" If the answer is no, then don't worry about it.
Then don't worry about it. Exactly
Don't
that.
worry about it. Yeah,
Exactly that.
yeah. And then there's like, if you start doing, you start learning, and you start growing, and you start evolving.
Exactly. I just keep on thinking about when people, and that's another thing, because people might think, oh my God, she's doing, like me, referring to me, thinking, oh, she's doing this, she's got a newsletter, she's doing her business, she's got a podcast, she's doing this, blah, blah. It's like, it didn't happen overnight. It literally it's taken me about how many years to get here? It's just,
Yeah.
it's, I mean, as I said right at the beginning of the episode, the first episode, I've been thinking about this for 2 years, and like I should have started it, but I didn't. Various things happen. But if you're ready to start something, you want to do it, just go for it. And just, yeah. Thank you for everyone supporting, by the way. Can I give some shout outs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I have to thank my dear friends, Mel Barfields and Molly. They've just been like, I remember sitting on the train coming back from You Are the Media with Mark, the conference that Mark Masters has. And I was saying to Molly, oh, I've got my podcast. I don't know what to call it. And we were sitting on the train for ages trying to work out the name. It was so funny. She goes, I'm sure you must have written something. I was like, I'm sure I've written something. And then we carried on trying to work out names. I went, no, I've written something. So I went in my notes. And I was like, oh, Creatives Like Us. I wrote that down a few years ago. I'm going to use that. So thank you, Molly, for like reminding me and encouraging me. Mel and Ben McKinney on their podcast, Indie Business Club, they always give me shout outs either in their newsletter or on air. And honestly, I do see every time they mention me, I see one download and I'm just like, oh, I've got another download it because I've got it on my app on my phone, a Buzzsprout thing pops up. So
Yes.
sometimes I'm not saying, don't know who they are, where they are in the world. It might be because of that, but I have to give thanks and say thank you to them. Obviously, I thanks you, Heather. You're amazing. Who else can I thank? Dominique. Oh my God. Dominique is always like, when I have an episode, she's always texting, I love that episode. Dominique is Dominique from the works, Dominique van Werkhoven. She's been just awesome. Oh my gosh. There's so many people. The Being Freelance crew. Steve, again, speak to him about podcasts. He's like really great around, he's got the Being Freelance podcast in the community. And there's people within there like Erin and Kaylee and Io, of course. Io gave me lots of tips. She's got her podcast, and she gave me loads of tips on podcasting and again, getting organized. Oh, you know who I do have to thank because they were awesome, especially around contacting guests afterwards, was John Clayton. And he's got the architecture, business club podcast. Yes. And he was really great in helping me set things up. Yeah. Who else? God, if I mentioned any more names, I'm sorry if I haven't remembered you all. But I know that whoever's DM'd me and said they've listened to the episodes. And I think one of my biggest champions also is Ella, or she always encouraged me from day one when I was designing Freelancer magazine with Sophie. And of course, Sophie, oh my God, she gives me ad space too. So it's just like, she's so awesome, especially around creatives like us. And yeah. It's just, there's been so many awesome people in the community that have just really just wanted to help me get this podcast out and encourage me to do it. So thank you to those people.
I'd like to thank back to you. Thank you. And that all happens because of the energy you put out as well. You're a huge cheerleader to everybody you've just mentioned. You've cheerleaded them. You've helped them in their businesses in so many different ways as well. Like every person you've mentioned, you've worked with in some sort of way or supported them as they've been going on to a big stage. Like Mel, you've been at a lot of the events that Mel's speaking at, and I know that you're always champion. And for me, you've done a lot of amazing design work for my clients as well. And when I go in and I look at the socials, I was like, oh, it looks nice. It looks good. And you are an absolute joy in the world. I think I call you sunshine. You're a ray of sunshine. You're so positive. You put such positivity out there for everybody that crosses your path. You want everybody to do well. And I think that's what comes back to you. We all want you to do well. We all want it to be a success for you as well. And I think that's why you get so many shout outs too.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So let's go right back to it coming together and listening to the first fully edited episodes. Can you remember how you felt?
I think I DM'd you, didn't I? I went, oh my God, that's amazing. Because we put 2 episodes out at the same time. Did we put mine and your episodes out and Dominique's episode, which I just have to say, Dominique, again, a big shout out. And her episode has been the most downloaded. Honestly,
brilliant.
Every other week, people are still downloading it. So, but when I first heard the episode, and again, I had to listen to my voice, I was like, oh my God, these are really good. It sounds terrible that I was actually shocked that they sounded good. But yeah, it was, oh, what a feeling. It's just great.
That's good. And that's you moving into your key person of influence stage now, basically.
La-di-da.
Yeah, that's you moving into that. So, Ange, you've been delighted with the podcast in its entirety as it's gone out, and you are 16 episodes down. So, what is the invitation you want to do for your listeners? What do you want to ask them to do for you?
Can you share, please? Tell people if you really like the episodes, if you liked any voices that you've heard or anything that's inspired you, maybe share it on social media or pass it on to somebody in your network. And then also what really, really helps is if you leave a comment. You can leave comments in Spotify now. I mean, I know not everybody's got Spotify because you assume that everyone's got Spotify, but even on the Buzzsprout website where we actually send the episodes out, there's a link there that says send me a text. And that is like, or just DM me. It just means so much if you could, but if you could leave a comment actually online somewhere, that obviously is just the most amazing thing. And I know sometimes Apple comments take forever to work out how to actually leave it. Why do they make that so hard? I don't understand.
I know.
Well, I just don't get it. It's like they don't want people to leave reviews, but Apple is the worst setup for the UX for setting up comments. But anyway, yeah, you can easily do it on Spotify or on the Buzzsprout website or DM me. And it means a lot that if somebody said, again, when I send out the newsletter about the podcast or I send out anything to say, or I put a social media post out and people send me a message afterwards, say, oh, I really enjoyed that. Or I'm so glad you got another episode out. I'm not doing it. It's not an ego thing. It really isn't. It is that we're sharing. and people appreciating. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah. And what sort of feedback have you received?
I said I've had DMs. People have been inspired. So what can I read out? Maybe I can read out one. Hang on.
Yeah, yeah.
Sweating. Okay, we have one here. It says, this is from the Mindful Ginger Nut. Thank you, Becky. It says, I struggled to stay focused on podcasts, but this podcast had my full attention from the start. From hearing Angie's own story and why the podcast exists to episodes with a special guest. It's been an inspiring listen so far, and I can't wait for the next episodes to drop. Woo! So that was Becky. So thank you so much for that. I've had Dominique when Adiza read out his poem, one of his poetry pieces, asking where can she buy it from. So that to me is just like, it's just so awesome when you hear somebody be inspired. And she wrote that down in the comments.
Oh, I love the poetry reading as well, but that's it. And then it's just hearing people's stories and people's take on things. And I learned quite a bit from the podcast as well. And I love it when there's so much honesty and I suppose rawness, and you create a safe space to allow that kind of vulnerability from your guests, and you hear that they feel safe with you, and they are actually properly telling their story. And I think that's fantastic and really powerful, really powerful. So, Ange, series 2 is coming. Have you got a wee teaser there? What would you say we could be? Is it going to be deeper stories? What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's more of a, I don't know, trying to mix up. Do you know what I would put a shout out for? Because I've had awesome people come on, and there are a lot of females. And I know there are a lot of males out there that are creative. So if there's any male creatives that you'd love to chat to, can we get them on too, please? Tell them to contact me. Or if you're one yourself, contact me. I'd love to hear from you. But nothing wrong with the sisters having them on at all. But it's just to mix it up a bit and be a bit more diverse. Yeah, so what's coming next? Oh, I've already recorded, as I said, so I hope you guys like them. And thank you for supporting, Sal.
Excellent. So I think we can wrap this up now, Ange. So well done on series 1 completed. Level up series 2.
Oh, wicked. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Heather.
Thanks, Ange. Speak to you soon.
See you. Bye. Let me start by giving thanks. Thank you for tuning in to Creatives Like Us. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it thought-provoking, inspiring and entertaining. If you did, it would absolutely make my day if you could share, subscribe, rate, review, wherever you get your podcast from. Also, if you have a question or a comment, I'd love to hear from you. All the ways to connect are in the notes. And until next time, keep being creative like us.